Okay, see here I have given you JEE docs, a zip file. Extract it parallelly. I'll go ahead with my explanation. I have extracted it here JEE docs, and inside it JEE docs, and inside it if I open this is JEE documentation. Inside it there is a package called javax.servlet. javax.servlet. This is the package. Here you can see an interface called servlet. Till now what we understood is, according to servlet specification, your servlet should implement this interface, right? See, there are subclasses, all non-implementing classes. Generic servlet is a class which is implementing servlet interface. So, if I write my class extending generic servlet, will it not be good? Will it not indirectly implement servlet interface? So what I will do is, in my program I will change. See, in my first servlet.java, for now just see, you don't need to type, just see for some time, understand the concepts. In my first servlet.java, I made my first servlet to implement servlet. That is the reason I need to implement all the methods. Even though I am not doing anything here, at least a dummy body is there, right? So what I am doing is, I am just deleting all the lines, all the methods. I am interested only in overriding service method. I don't want to override other methods. But will the compiler agree now if I am implementing servlet interface? No. When a class is implementing an interface, it should implement all the methods. Otherwise, they should declare this class as abstract, right? So the disadvantage of implementing servlet interface is, I need to give empty body for all the other methods, even though I am not interested in, right? So instead of implementing servlet, what if I make my first servlet to extend generic servlet? Generic servlet is an abstract class. See, generic servlet is a class which is implementing servlet. If my class is extending generic servlet, it is indirectly implementing servlet interface. See here, see this class, generic servlet class. This is abstract class, right? And it has provided body for all the methods except one method called service. Except for service methods, service method which is abstract, here you can see abstract. Other methods are not abstract, right? So generic servlet is implementing servlet interface, giving body for all the other methods except service method, which is taking servlet request, servlet response. Now if I make my class to extend generic servlet, which is the only method I need to implement, service method, because that is the only abstract method, right? If a class is extending another abstract class, it has to provide body for all the abstract methods. So instead of making my servlet to implement servlet interface, I am making it to extend generic servlet, and I am overriding service method, right? What is the advantage again? I need not give empty bodies for other methods, like init destroy all other methods were there earlier. I deleted all, right? So we feel that it is better to extend generic servlet. Means it is directly implementing servlet only. Okay. But now what is the protocol which is followed by our servers now? Now what is the protocol which is followed by our web server? HTTP, right? Here the name says generic servlet, means it is not having anything particular to any protocol. It is very generic to all protocols. Okay. Now see the API again. For generic servlet, there is a directly known subclass called HTTP servlet. So we have another class called HTTP servlet extending generic servlet, right? So what I can do is, instead of my servlet extending generic servlet, I can make it to extend HTTP servlet, right? So my servlet, if it is extending HTTP servlet, it is indirectly extending generic servlet, true? It is indirectly implementing servlet interface, true? Yes. Okay. See, previously I have written here generic servlet. Generic. It is not particular to any protocol, right? If you see the API, HTTP servlet is extending generic servlet. So what I can do is I can make my class to extend HTTP servlet. If my class is extending HTTP servlet, it is indirectly extending generic servlet. Generic servlet is implementing servlet interface, right? So can I say that my first servlet is implementing servlet? Yes. So can I say that this is a servlet class? According to servlet specification, what is a servlet? Any Java class which implements servlet interface is a servlet. Now this class is implementing servlet interface, so this is a servlet. So generally, what we do is whenever we want to write our own servlet, we extend HTTP servlet and override service method. As of now, you know only service method. I will introduce other methods later slowly. Okay, we can override service method. Okay, any doubts? Okay. Once, see, to write one servlet, what all I need to do to generate dynamic content, I need to write a class extending HTTP servlet, and after I write it, I need to write web.xml. In web.xml, what am I doing? I am configuring the servlet tag and telling what is the URL pattern at which it should be invoked. Means I am describing about my servlet. I already told web.xml is also called as deployment descriptor. What is deployment? I told already. Deployment is telling about your application to server is called deployment. How are you telling? By keeping it inside web apps folder, right? During deployment of any web application, the container reads web.xml and tries to understand what all servlets present and which URL pattern. If a request comes to this URL pattern, this is servlet to be executed, right? It knows about all the servlets during deployment by reading web.xml. So previously what I did to generate dynamic content, I wrote a Java class and I updated web.xml, right? Will it not be good if web.xml is automatically written? Yes. So let us try to write a program which will generate web.xml automatically. Eclipse can do it. Okay, now what I want to do is I want another servlet which will do the same as of now, but automatically I want Eclipse to write the contents of web.xml. See the procedure, you can also follow parallelly. Right click on com.accenture, new. Here there is directly servlet. Previously I took new class. Class. If I take new servlet, automatically Eclipse will generate web.xml for you. Okay, I am taking new servlet. Servlet class name, I will say hello servlet. Okay. If you take next, here it is asking URL mapping. I want this servlet to be invoked if I get /hello. So I can change it. Double click on it. You can edit it /hello. Okay. So it is asking for the URL pattern here only. Then next, finish. Then next, okay. Previously in web.xml you wrote URL pattern as /getDate. So same here, if you give it through this wizard, Eclipse will automatically write the web.xml. Okay. See here. Click on finish. See the web.xml now which is generated. See here, automatically a servlet tag is generated. Take all defaults as of now. And see here, servlet mapping is generated. What is the URL pattern? /hello, whichever I gave. So automatically Eclipse has generated web.xml and also hello servlet.java extends. HTTP servlet automatically generated by Eclipse, right? Now what you can do is you can delete everything. You can delete everything here. And override service method right now. Okay, delete everything and override service method right now. Okay, then make this servlet request arg0 as request and make this as response. Then first step is response.getWriter. I'll be getting an object of printWriter. Out is equals to, then out.println just hello. Now what you can do is you can just restart your server, start your server. Okay, open the browser and give what is the URL pattern /hello, right? See whether you are getting output whatever I printed. A simple, just I wanted to use Eclipse for automatically generating web.xml. In HTTP protocol, I said that there are various ways of making a request. The one which we use, which is default, is GET request, and the next one is POST request. Let us assume that you are filling some registration form for any of the application like Facebook. What you do while registration, you will submit, you enter your details and then submit. Now along with the request, browser has to send whatever you have typed, right? So means the browser is posting data. So whenever browser has to send some data as part of the request, generally it is always good to use a HTTP method called POST, right? So there are two HTTP request methods, GET method, POST method, right? So let us try to understand even more about what is the difference between GET and POST slowly. So as of now we understood that there are two ways of making a HTTP request: GET request, POST request. See here in the API, let me explain you first based on the API. Generic servlet is a class which is implementing servlet, right? Here in generic servlet, it is first if you see servlet interface, there are some important methods inside the servlet interface, lifecycle methods, which you need to remember. The lifecycle methods inside servlet are init method, service method, and destroy method. These are the three important methods inside servlet interface, right? I'll just write down here in the paint. Okay, here very roughly I'll servlet interface is having some methods the methods are init method, which is taking servlet config as parameter. I'll explain what is the servlet config. And the next one is service method, which is taking servlet request, comma, servlet response, then destroy method. See, these are the three important methods present in servlet interface. The next class, generic servlet class, is implementing servlet interface. It is providing body for all the methods except some few. I'll just represent it here like this. Generic servlet is implementing servlet interface and is providing body for all the methods except service method. See, in generic servlet, what all are the important methods present? Init method is given body, which is taking servlet config, and there is another empty init method. Destroy method also is given body, and there are two service methods. One service method which is taking servlet request, comma, servlet response, and another service method, overloaded service method, which is taking HTTP servlet request, comma, HTTP servlet response. Sorry, I think I'll just delete this one. There is only one service method here, sorry, not this one. Generic servlet is having all these four methods, and here the service method is abstract. Service method is abstract. Right? If I am, which is the class which is extending generic servlet now, which you know? HTTP servlet is extending generic servlet. Now see the hierarchy. I'll just draw HTTP servlet also here. HTTP servlet is extending generic servlet, and these are the methods present inside it. It is providing body for service method, which is taking servlet request, comma, servlet response, and also there is another overloaded service method, HTTP service request, comma, HTTP servlet response. Yeah, here it is servlet, sorry, HTTP servlet HTTP servlet request, HTTP servlet response. Okay, and there are some other methods which are extra, like doGet, which is taking again HTTP servlet request, comma, HTTP servlet response. Similarly, there is another method also, doPost. These are the important methods. There are some other methods also. Okay, just I'll save it. 4. Okay, see the diagram now. Servlet interface is having these three methods. Generic servlet is implementing servlet interface, and it has provided body for init method, and there is another extra init method. Destroy method also is given body, but still service method is abstract. Okay, now coming down, HTTP servlet is extending generic servlet, and it is giving body for this service method which is abstract. Okay, and it is giving another overloaded service method, and there are two extra methods, right? Now tell me, here my class, if you see my servlet is hello servlet, is it having all those methods defined which I showed right now? My hello servlet is extending HTTP servlet. Can I say that this hello servlet is having a method called doGet? It is inherited doGet, doPost, service method which is taking servlet request, servlet response. Another service method which is taking HTTP servlet request, HTTP servlet response. All the methods are present here, right? Okay, once you understand this, let me tell you what is the life cycle of a servlet and how a servlet will be processed when a request comes. Okay, now what is the request I gave? I gave this request. Okay, just I will open new. This is the request which I made. For this request, tell me what the browser will do. Browser will open a socket connection to localhost 360. Then it will send some text in HTTP servlet request format. The text will be something like this. Very quickly I'll write. It will be like get / first servlet app / hello and space http /1.1.1, then one line space, then second part of the header is what? Second part of the request is headers, right? Headers are nothing but name value pairs. Like in hash map, you can put name value pairs. Map.put, you might have put key and value pairs, right? So headers are nothing but name value pairs. Every header in HTTP will be having a name and a value. There are a lot of HTTP headers, but I'll just, for demonstration purpose, I'll just write only one HTTP header which is very famous, accept -language. Colon, the value is en_US. Means this tells what is the language of the browser. Browser, can you set a language of your browser? Yes, we can set a language of the browser to Hindi or whatever we want. So if I set my language of the browser to Hindi and type Google, will I see the Google content in Hindi or not? Have you tried? Yeah, I will show you later. We can set the language of my browser also. So when I type a URL like this and press enter, browser will make a request like this, and this is the HTTP header, one of the HTTP header. Right? Get method does not have any body. Get method by default, what is, if I type URL and press enter, by default browser will use get. Right? So get means what I am asking the server to get some output. Generally, whenever we are typing something on the browser and pressing enter, we are not sending some data generally. So by default, the request method which is being used is get. Here, this is a request method. Okay? And it is sending some information about the browser, like what is the language it accepts here through headers. And body of the HTTP header will be empty. Sorry, body of this HTTP request when using get method will be empty. Okay? The another request method can be, instead of get, it can be post. When we use post is whenever we submit some data to server, like if you are filling some registration forms and pressing the data, pressing enter, it is using post, right? So when you are using post, whatever you are submitting, right, from the client, that will be going as part of the body. So for a post method there will be body, for a get method there will be no body. Just remember this. I will show you practically once we go further, even practically how the data is going. As of now, I'll use get. Okay. Now this request comes to the server. Server once it sees, first the request will come to where? Web server or web container? Web server. The web server will see whether there is any static file for this URI. No. Slash hello, no, right? So it will forward the request to web container. Now the web container will see whether there is any application with name first servlet app. Yes, it is there. In the web apps directory it is there. It will try to see whether there is any servlet mapped to slash hello. In web.xml it will see, is there any URL pattern slash hello? Yes. What is the name of servlet? Hello servlet. What is its class? This is the class. So the container understood which is the servlet class for this request to be executed, right? So first thing it will do is it will create an object of this hello servlet. Okay. First object is created. I list down all the steps. First step is object of hello servlet. In this case, hello servlet is created by using what? Default constructor. Using default constructor. Tell me, you understood about reflection, right? On Friday, I think, reflection I told. If I just give a class name by using reflection, class.pername c.new instance, you can create an object, right? So internally, the container is using reflection and it is creating an object of this class. And it is invoking default constructor only. So tell me, what will happen if there is no default constructor in my hello servlet? You will get an error. The container does not know how to create an object if there is no default constructor. So in your servlet, there should be default constructor, right? Public default constructor, right? Okay. Now what I told, the container will create an object of hello servlet using default constructor. Second, see, what is the purpose of servlet? To service a request. A request is given by the browser. The purpose of servlet is to service the request, means give a response. The servlet is not ready to service until it is initialized. This is the rule. According to servlet specification, servlet should be initialized first. So what the container will do is it will call init method. Init method, which is taking servlet config object, is called. Is there init method which is taking servlet config here? Yes. As I told in this diagram. Okay, let me open it. You have see here. Generic servlet is implementing init method which is taking servlet config as parameter here. So this method is inherited to HTTP servlet. From HTTP servlet, my hello servlet also has inherited init method, right? So now the container, what it will do is it will call init method which is taking servlet config as parameter, right? Has to be called. But before this is called, before init method is called, it has to create an object of servlet config. You need to understand what is servlet config now. Servlet config, as the name says, it is a servlet configuration, an object which contains servlet configuration details. Where is this object configured? Where is this servlet configured? Tell me. In web.xml? In web.xml, hello servlet is configured. Where? In this servlet tag, is it? Do you agree? In this servlet tag, hello servlet is configured. So what the container will do is, by reading all the information present inside that servlet tag, it will create an object of servlet config. Here, this is a very minimal information. In this case, we are seeing very minimal tags. Later, I'll show we can add some more tags also inside servlet tag, right? So with all the information in this servlet tag, it will create an object of servlet config. Just remember the knowledge. Servlet config means servlet configuration. Where are we configuring servlet? Inside web.xml. Inside web.xml where in servlet tag. So by seeing all this information inside servlet tag for hello servlet, we should create an object of servlet config, and then servlet config is passed to init method. Init method is invoked on my hello servlet. Is there init method? Did I override it? No. In my hello servlet, did I override it? No. So the implementation inside the generic servlet will be executed? Yes. So init method inside generic servlet, the defined inside generic servlet will be executed. Okay. Any doubts? So this init method is called. So once init method is called, we say that servlet is initialized. Once the servlet is initialized, it is ready to service the requests. Okay. Okay. Now you need to understand how this init method is implemented inside generic servlet. Okay. So first I am dividing the life cycle into parts. First we are trying to understand the initialization part of the servlet. Okay. So we understood about how container calls init method. Before calling init method, we create an object of servlet config. What is servlet config? What is servlet config? It is an object which contains servlet configuration details. It contains all the information present in servlet tag. Okay. So if I just write, at least why I am taking this much time is, if I just at least write, you will have some time to grasp and keep it inside your mind, in your hard disk. Don't keep it in your RAM. Okay. Now you need to understand how this init method is implemented inside generic servlet, right? You'll get a very clear idea if you try to understand the code inside. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to make you understand how generic servlet is implemented by writing a simple pseudocode. I am writing a class, just see here, don't type it. I am writing a class called generic servlet. Generic servlet, or I say my generic servlet. See here, I am just writing this class to explain you the code inside it, the pseudo code here, okay? It is having a method called init. Internally it is having a variable called private servlet config, okay. Indeed, it is having a public void init method which is taking servlet config as parameter. Here it is saying this dot servlet config is equals to servlet config, okay, and it is having another init method, public void init method, which is not taking any parameter. Is it not overloading? Yes. So here this init method is calling another init method which is not taking any parameters. So this is the implementation of init method inside generic servlet. What the init method is doing, it is storing the reference of servlet config, whatever is passed, inside a private variable, and it is calling another init method which is empty, it is not taking any parameters. So this is how it is defined inside generic servlet. Now tell me, all this code is inherited inside my hello servlet or not? Inherited, right? Tell me, is this private variable also inherited? No. Private variables are inherited, but they are not visible. Right? Private variable is not visible, right? Now tell me, in my hello servlet, how to get the reference of config? It is private. It is private, so I cannot get it, right? So what they did is, inside generic servlet, they gave a getter method here. Source, generate, only getter method I take. So inside generic servlet class, this is pseudocode only I am writing. Inside generic servlet class, there is a method called, a public method called getServletConfig, which is returning the reference of this private variable, right? Now tell me, here inside hello servlet, can I access the inherited method? Yes, I can call. See, if I want to get the reference of servlet config, what I can do is get servlet config. See, this is the method get servlet config. It is inherited from where? It is inherited from generic servlet. So you should know such links, how from where it is inherited and from where we can get it. Okay. Okay, I'll repeat again. Now just let me rewind the initialization process of a servlet. I'm just going to revise the initialization process of a servlet. See here, I gave a request like this from my browser. A request is coming. The browser will open a socket connection and send some text to the server. The request will finally reach the web container, servlet container, right? Servlet container will see the web.xml and try to find whether there is any servlet with /hello. Yes, it is there in web.xml. There is a servlet whose URL pattern is /hello. The name is hello servlet. You come and find the class name. So container came to know that this is the servlet class to be executed, right? So what the container will do, it will try to create an object of hello servlet. Object of hello servlet is created using default constructor. Then init method, which is taking servlet config, has to be called. Okay. So why? Because servlet, the purpose of servlet is what? To service the request. Servlet will not be able to service the request until it is initialized. To initialize the servlet, container needs to call init method. But before calling init method, it has to create an object of servlet config, right? What is the servlet config? As the name says, it is a servlet configuration, an object which contains servlet configuration details. Who is creating it? Container will create an object of servlet config. How? By reading servlet tag inside the web.xml, it will create with all the information present here inside the servlet tag. It will create an object of servlet config. Okay. Then it is passed to init method, which is taking servlet config as parameter, right? So is there init method which is taking servlet config as parameter in my hello servlet? Yes, it is inherited. It is inherited from where? Generic servlet. The generic servlet code looks like this. It is having a private variable called servlet config, and this is the body for init method. It is saving the reference of whatever servlet config is passed inside a private variable, right? Then it is calling another init method which is dummy now, right? So can I override this init method inside my hello servlet? Yes. So generally, if I want to write any initialization code for my servlet, what I can do is I can override this init method in my hello servlet. Okay. Any doubts? So this is the initialization process of a servlet. Once the servlet is initialized, the servlet is ready to service. Container will call service method, which is taking servlet request and servlet response as parameter. Now the third step, container will call service method, which is taking servlet request comma servlet response. Container will call this method. The container is ready to service. the container will call the service method which is taking servlet request and servlet response. Where is the servlet request and servlet response given body? See this diagram. Yeah. See, in generic servlet, service method is abstract. It is given body inside HTTP servlet. So in HTTP servlet class, this is given body, right? So now I'll tell you how this service method is implemented. The container will always call the service method which is taking servlet request and servlet responses parameters. Are these two service methods not overloaded? Overloaded service method, right? But container will always call this service method only. This service method is present in servlet interface. Container will always call the methods present in servlet interface only. Okay? Container will always call service method which is taking servlet request and servlet response. They are given body inside HTTP server, right? Now what I'll do is I'll just try to show you how the service method and how the service methods are given body inside HTTP servlet, so that you will get a very clear flow. Yeah.
So what is the use of the second mode?
Service method, right? Yeah, I'm going to tell you now only. Okay, now I'll try to write this new class my HTTP servlet, just a pseudocode, just for explaining you. HTTP servlet, actually it will be extending generic servlet. Okay, I'm not writing that. In HTTP servlet, there is a service method which is, there are two service methods, public void service which is taking servlet request comma servlet response, and there is another service method, overloaded service method, which is taking HTTP servlet request, HTTP servlet response. So there are two service methods which are overloaded, right? The container will always call the service method. The service method, actually I am saying HTTP servlet, right? This is inherited inside my hello servlet. Hello servlet is extending HTTP servlet. I am just writing a pseudocode here. So here the container will always call this method, right? What this will do is it will call service method Okay, before you understand this, what is servlet request and what is servlet response? Servlet request is an interface and HTTP servlet request is a sub-interface. Servlet request is interface, HTTP servlet request is sub-interface. Similarly, servlet response is interface and HTTP servlet response is sub-interface, right? Now, see here, can I do like this? Can I typecast servlet request to HTTP servlet request? Because servlet request is super interface. This is sub interface. I can typecast it? Yes. Similarly, HTTP servlet response is equals to here in this service method, what they are doing is they are typecasting this to this one, and then they are calling service method which will take request and HTTP servlet request and HTTP servlet response. So you just need to understand the container will always call the service method, and this service method is calling this service method. Okay, it is just like an adapter. Container will always call the methods present in servlet interface. Container knows only about this interface. It does not know anything about HTTP servlet class. Container will always call the method present inside this interface. Okay. So this service method is given body here inside HTTP servlet, and it is internally calling service method which is taking HTTP servlet request, HTTP servlet responses, parameters. Now we need to understand what is this internally about, how this object can be created and how this object can be created. Okay, now concentrate for 10 minutes. It's very important to understand how these two objects are created, right? What I told, after servlet is initialized, the second step is initialization of servlet. After servlet is initialized, container will call service method. But before the service method is called, container has to create these two objects, right? So see here, servlet request. What is servlet request? I'll show you here. Servlet request is an interface, and see, HTTP servlet request is sub interface. Similarly, servlet response is interface, and HTTP servlet response is sub interface. See, servlet, is it a specification or not? Servlet is a specification. As part of specification, yesterday also we understood they give interfaces. Like in JDBC specification also, JDBC also a specification. They gave interfaces. Implementation is given by vendors, right? Here also, as part of servlet specification, Java community gave the specification and they gave these interfaces. The implementation will be provided by the vendor, in this case Tomcat. Tomcat will be having implementations for these interfaces, right? So tell me, if suppose I am writing the code for Tomcat, if I write a class which is implementing HTTP servlet response, is it not indirectly implementing servlet response also? HTTP servlet response is super interface. Sorry, servlet request. Sorry, servlet response is super interface and interface, and HTTP servlet response is sub interface. If I write a class implementing this HTTP servlet response, it is indirectly implementing. So when they are writing code for Tomcat, what they did is they wrote a class which is implementing HTTP servlet request and also a class which is implementing HTTP servlet response, right? So I am just writing here. Before calling service method, container has to create request and response objects, right? The container will create an object of a class which is implementing HTTP servlet request, comma HTTP servlet response. So container will create an object. So Tomcat, when developing Tomcat, they have written a class which is implementing HTTP servlet request and HTTP servlet response. So before the service method is called, what the container will do is it will create an object of a class which is implementing HTTP servlet request and HTTP servlet response. These objects are passed to service method, right? But what information does this HTTP servlet request object contain, and what information does HTTP servlet response object contains? Now see, browser, is it sending some information when it is making a request? Right? See, these are request method, these are URI, protocol version, headers, body. So browser is sending some information as part of making a request. So with all this information which the browser is sending, container will create an object of What object? First parameter is what? HTTP. Create an object of HTTP servlet request implementation. An object of a class which is implementing HTTP servlet request, right? So what the first object will contain? It will contain all the information which the browser is sending. What is the browser? What example of information is? What is the request method? Get. What is the URI? This is one. Protocol, headers, body. These all are the information which the browser is sending, the client. So all the information which the browser is sending can be obtained by using request object, right? The first parameter. Service method is having two parameters, request and response. So by using this object, we can get all the information which the browser is sending, right? Now response object, we need to understand about response object. Response object will be dummy. See how I'll create an object of HTTP servlet response. Just for making you to understand, I'm creating a class. My HTTP servlet response IMPL, implementation of HTTP servlet response. Okay, internally it will be having a variable private output stream. Okay, and here internally it will be having a setter method for set output stream and get output stream. Okay, and here inside HTTP servlet response implementation there is another method called public print writer get writer. What it is doing is it is just returning new print writer using this output stream. Yeah, this is how a class is present. Okay, now see, container, before calling the service method, you understood how the container will create an object of servlet request. Now servlet response is an interface, HTTP servlet response is sub interface. There will be some class which is implementing it. Assume that the class which is implementing is like this. Assume that it is like this. We need not worry about what is the class which is implementing it, right? Assume that this is one. So it will be like this. Is there a default constructor? Yes. So container will create an object of HTTP servlet response implementation by the default constructor, right? Now see here, is there a socket between servlet container and HTTP server here? Right? So there is a socket. This is a socket between servlet container and HTTP server, right? Socket.get output stream. Will I be getting a response of will I be getting a reference of this socket's output stream? In networking we have seen socket object dot get output stream. I'll get output stream reference through which I can write. Is it? Socket.get input stream. I'll get a reference of input stream through which I can read, right? So this socket's output stream, socket.get output stream, this socket object.get output stream will give the reference of output stream. This socket's output stream reference is passed to setter method of this HTTP servlet response. So reference of output stream, socket's output stream is given to the response object. Okay, so now response object is having a reference of the socket's output stream of servlet container. Is it? So this is how request object and response objects are created by container, and container will call which method, which is taking servlet request and servlet response as parameters, right? Where is it given? Body inside HTTP servlet, right? What this service method is doing? this service method is calling this service method. Is it? Now, what we have done in our hello servlet, did I override this method in my hello servlet? Yes. Okay, I have overridden the earlier one only. Right? If I have overridden the earlier one, this will be called, right? So what am I doing? Response dot get writer. See the pseudo code what I gave. In the response implementation class, there is a method called get writer. What is it doing? It's creating a print writer using the output stream. What is this output stream referring to? Output stream of this socket, right? So whatever I write using that writer now will go from servlet container to HTTP server, right? So that is what I said also earlier. See in my code what I did. Response dot get writer. I am getting a reference of this print writer object using servlet's output stream, right? So here if you see, I am getting out print writer object. Whatever I write using this out will go from servlet container to HTTP server, right? This is a very basic